Hey everyone, so this here is my new studio area that I kind of moved into. So we got the computer section, we got this camera section, and we got the storage section. And in this video, I'm going to be going over all of those, plus at the end, some of the lighting techniques that I use to try to make my YouTube videos as cinematic as possible. So without further ado, this is my studio tour 2024. Let's go. I'm going to talk about the three main sections that I've kind of divided my studio area into, and then at the end I'll go over the lighting techniques that I've utilized in order to make the most cinematic video possible whenever I'm filming like this. So be sure to stick around to the end for that. So when it comes to my actual setup, the place that I sit to use my computer and film videos like this, most of the stuff is the exact same from where it was whenever I made that other video that I just told you about. However, I have changed a few things, such as this monitor here on the right side. I rotated it so it's vertical, and this is, I think, more helpful as a secondary display because you can kind of stack horizontal windows on top of each other, or if I'm using Discord, then you can see more of the text speed. It's just, there is a good amount of apps on Mac that do tend to work better vertically, more than you would think. So I think having at least one display that is vertical is actually helpful for being productive whenever you're using those apps. I also made a change on my main monitor, which is here on the left. It is the Scepter 4K monitor at 60 Hertz. There's a link in the description below if you do want to check that out. If I had to make one complaint about this, it would be the viewing angles are a bit off, especially if you have like a window behind you. It's a little bit hard to see the edges of the screen if you're really close to it, but as long as you're sitting back where you should be if you're using it, then everything is just fine. The bezels look great, solid monitor. I'm also using this awesome light that whenever I'm filming, I actually have it to where it's bouncing against the wall, and that kind of diffuses it. So that's the light that I'm using right now and that I use on all my videos. But it's really cool because there are these little capacitive buttons right below it where you can change the mode of the light, which changes kind of the sunlight, Kelvin, the basic modes of the light, and then you can also adjust its brightness. I just published an app on the App Store, once again, link in the description below. I make a bunch of concept renders. I make videos like these. I do some visual effects. There's a bunch of stuff that the studio is for, so pretty much whatever you do, whoever you are, if you kind of work with tech and are involved somewhat in the digital world, then I think the studio would be somewhat relevant to you because every small part of it is kind of designed for a different craft that I do. On my desk, I've also added this. It's just a cool little like SD card wallet, so you can see, open it up, you get all your different SD cards in there. Find it helpful because before I had this, I would always lose track, but this is nice and neat, and you can slide right on top of hard drive, whatever you have on your desk. So yeah, that's my desk. I have a succulent, have an RGB light. If you have any questions that I kind of left out here, then leave a comment, and these videos aren't very huge, don't get a lot of views, so if you do leave a comment, then I will most definitely reply if it's a good question. There's not a lot to say here. It's this little cart that I've kind of set up to where it can still be portable. So if I wanted to go film outside or in a different city even, I could load this cart up into a car and then drive it, and all my camera gear is there. Of course, I do have a bag that I use for more like portable photography shoots, but as of now, this is like all my camera stuff. Everything I need, besides maybe a gimbal, which I keep in the closet, is all on this cart. Okay, I don't know why, but I sound boring as heck in that video, and I'm sorry, but we are moving on to the storage section, the final section, before we go on to the lighting. So, back to boring me. And then this third section over here, I call the storage section, but I mean, it kind of does a lot of things. First of all, it serves as a charging station, so I have USB-C, micro USB, Lightning, and an Apple Watch charger, so basically any kind of mobile device or even laptop, I can charge there. And then right next to it, we have the kind of these stacked shelves. I find these useful for like just different categories of items, such as charging cables is the top one. The rest of them are kind of boring, but that's what the shelf is for, and it really does make an impact of like little things. If you can find a way to like properly organize small things, then there won't be as much clutter around your workspace. So I highly suggest some kind of like drawers that you can label. It's cool. All right, now moving on to the lighting. So the key light or main face light is, like I said earlier, this cool kind of thing that clamps onto your desk. For the diffuse look, I do bounce it off the wall and it kind of spreads the light around so you get a nice soft spot. And then I have some really cool lights in the background. Unfortunately, you can't really see them right now because it is not nighttime, but I do believe I have some clips of them of what they look like whenever it's kind of darker in here. I probably should hang up a blackout curtain eventually, but as of right now, this is kind of the light mode. The dark mode also looks very cool. And that is because of two lights. First of which is kind of this like industrial light that I got from Harbor Freight, and I can attach color gels on top of it. How did I attach the color gels, you ask? Well, I super glued a magnet onto the light, and then I have another magnet, and I can pop it off and put the filter in there. So that's how you change the color of that light. Whereas the other light isn't so complicated. It comes with this little remote, so I could even do it from my desk and change the color of the light. And I mean, the window's not bad. You know, dark theme is always cool. It's always been superior, but every now and then you want to switch it up. And I think I really have tried to, just in general, have this be a light themed studio. White walls, white desk, everything about it is kind of just brighter. Even the keyboard, Magic Keyboard. I'm not saying it's good. It's not good, but it's light theme. Anyway, what's awesome about the lighting setup and the setup is that it can all be controlled by this little remote. So I can press this button and it turns off that light. I can press this button, turns off this light. I can press this button. Hey everyone, I am so sorry about that. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, then be sure to like or maybe even subscribe. And if you did like this video, then there's a high probability that you will also like this one. I made it small, so it's challenging to click on. So I'll give you some time to think about that. You know, it's right here for you, waiting. And yeah, see you next time. Peace.